So, what do you actually know about Kalama, Washington? Chances are it's probably not a lot. Same with me. For the longest time, the only thing I knew is it was 30 minutes north of Vancouver, and it looked really lame every time I would drive through it going up I-5. I was like, okay. Well, it's actually not. It's a really cool city. I've had a chance to really visit and get to know Kalama quite well over the past few years. And one really cool tidbit about Kalama right now is that the Kalama High School is where they filmed the high school scenes in the Twilight movies. But that's just one thing. So my name is Cassandra Marks, also known as Realtor Cass. I am your local guide to everything Southwest Washington, Clark County, and Vancouver area. So I want to take you on a map tour. We're going to jump on my desktop here and I'm going to show you everything super cool about Kalama. If you're good with that, let's go.
Greetings. Well, you have made it over to my desktop today as we're talking about Kalama right here. So 30 minutes north of Vancouver. It is a tiny little town, like tiny, itty little town. It really is. It's like a handful of streets, but it's got some amazing stuff about it. So first of all, when you are getting off in Kalama here, you're going to come up the interstate right here and exit onto Elm Street. They've got a frontage road and they've got First Street, and that's about the extent of the downtown area. So it extends all the way down to right about here, not very far. So you're looking at like this section from like here to here. That's it. Those two roads. That is all of it. So it's pretty tiny, but that's just the downtown area. That does not include the riverfront, which we will also talk about today. So as you get off, first thing I want to talk about things that Kalama is known for, obviously antiques, fishing, and food. It is just starting to get known more for food because in 2022, they signed a contract, the city of Kalama signed a contract and built a new dock for river boats and for cruise ships. And so in 2022, they signed with American Cruise Lines and they come in, and in 2022, they had like 250,000 some visitors from their cruise ships come into this tiny little town that, like, when I drive past it on I-5, I spend a lot of time going like, what was ever here? But then I visited and then I started falling in love with Kalama. So let's talk about some things. So obviously antiques, there are 3 different antiques shops in Kalama that are very, very good, very, very cool. So Kalama Vintage Warehouse is one of them. You can see outside, cool, really neat outside. Inside wise, they've just got lots of different areas and knickknack corners. So you can have a wide variety of different things depending upon what you're looking for. People love doing antiquing in the Pacific Northwest. So like Kalama is a really cool town because honestly, within like a 2-block period, there are 3. So there's that one. And then Drew and Davis Antiques is right here. Nice little brown exterior, pretty like chill, super cute, like old school downtown. Just like charming downtown Kalama is. So all the buildings are a little bit different, but they're all so cute and quaint. And then last but not least is First Street Antiques right up here. So within like a block and a half of each other, there's 3. Woohoo! Next, I want to talk to you a little bit about food. So there is some pretty good food. And my favorite place in Kalama happens to be Willie Dick's First Street Tap House. So Willie Dick's First Street Tap House. All right. I walked in there because I was like, where can I eat? Went in. It was amazing. Yes, we'll get to this in a second. But they have basically gourmet hot dogs and there's tons of different flavors. So like the first one I had was like a buffalo chicken, but it was a bratwurst, but it had like the buffalo flavoring on it. Super good. They had one with kimchi on it. That one was amazing. They also have pulled pork. So like this whole, here's a pulled pork one. They have a whole bunch of different options. They do chips in-house, great beer, great drinks, bartender, super friendly atmosphere. Let me see. So here's like the bar area. They've got TVs and music so you can hang out. Here's like the bar top right here and just the vibe. And then they have a little patio out here on the outside. Totally dig this place. Like 5 out of 5 stars. Absolutely. Like I've gone back multiple times. Always a nice place. Just so frickin' friendly that people are. So after Willie Dick's, there's a few other places. So right here, it's not pulling up, of course, is Poker Pete's Pizza. Great place to get pizza for you and kids, or you and you and you and you. Other places people like are the Lucky Dragon. Okay, so for the people that are not from the Pacific Northwest, let me give you a heads up. If this one's a 4.4, but even if you see food rating from like 3 to like 4.5, if it's like the 3 to 4 range and it's Asian food, you should still absolutely read the reviews and go, because most of the time it's between a 3 and a 4, honestly, because of the service, not because of the food. Just because Americans are like really sticky about their service and don't necessarily always comment about how good the food is. Like they'll rate it a 1 if their water glass isn't full. But I mean, there's tons and tons and tons of good Asian food in the Pacific Northwest, and Lucky Dragon is definitely one of them. You can tell 4.4 people are happy here. So as we continue along here, it is not pulling up, but I do want to pull this one up. Okay, Kalama. It's an ice cream shop. Of course, I love ice cream. My husband loves ice cream. It is delicious. So gotta always enjoy the ice cream shop here in Kalama. There is just a tiny little place right there, just kind of hiding back here. Really, really difficult to see. So you gotta really keep an eye out for it. But it's right here next to Sheer Haven. And then we'll kind of zip past the Kalama Public Library. We'll talk about that a little bit later. I love the Antique Deli and Pastry Shop. Their sandwiches are amazing. It's a great place to eat lunch if you need to grab a quick sandwich and get on the run. Next up is the Burger Bar. Burger Bar. Lots of different amazing burgers, and they have gyros and just kind of like all that really good, greasy American food that we all love. You got the inside menus up here. Just cute little old shack. It's been here a long time. Chicken strips. Oh my gosh. Oh wait, hold on. Shakes, malts, tots. Oh my God, I love tots. Tots. I'm all about the tots. And I will tell you, actually, there is an amazing place to get tots in Kalama. So we'll talk about that in a second. All right, get off the Burger Bar here. Go a little bit further down the frontage road, and first you're going to find my last of my favorite place is the Atomic Cafe. They have some super awesome pastries. I personally like the apple coffee cake muffins. I didn't quite have the cojones to try the jalapeno popper up here because the whole like sweet and savory thing is really weird to me, but I heard it's kind of a favorite. So Atomic Bakery is a really cool place if you want some pastries or some good coffee. So that's a little bit about the food on the city side. Other things that you might wonder a little bit about is, yes, Kalama is very small. So what about a grocery store? Well, I mean, there's kind of a grocery store, kind of not a grocery store. It's not going to be huge. So if you need like a few things here and there, you're going to stop by the Healthy Shopping Center. It is a supermarket. It's pretty small, nothing too crazy. It's got your produce, bread, stuff you need. But if like you really want to hit the grocery store hard, you can either go 9 miles south where Woodland has a Safeway or a Walmart, or you can go north to Longview, Kelso, where they're going to have a Target, a Walmart, Safeway, Fred Meyer, that kind of thing up there. So it's really not that far to drive to either one of those cities. But if you need something quick, like some milk or some little bits here and there or a snack, the Healthy Shopping Center will help you out. Next up is one place in town that people really, really like. And I'm going to see if I can get it to pull up. Where did you go? Oh no, did I lose it? Double D's Feed Farm and Garden. If you live in Kalama, you're going to have to go to Double D's because you're going to need lots of different things. Lots of farm goods, lots of other items. People just like this place. Obviously, people come and they have car shows there. Here you go. There's Double D's. You're going to have some flowers and some gardening stuff that you need. But it's the place in town to go and be, and they're just super friendly, super nice. And if you can't find what you're looking for there, chances are they're probably going to end up sending you to like Kalama or up to Longview or down to Woodland. But Double D's Feed Farm and Garden is great. All right, now back to the Kalama Library. So I had I had a I had a moment. I needed some Wi-Fi, like really bad. And in all of my travels and whatever, it's always like go to the library, like the local library. There's a library in every freaking town almost, and go there and get your Wi-Fi. So I rolled in there. I was actually going to be doing a podcast with some friends, and I didn't make it back to my house in time. So I was like, oh, I'm in Kalama. The library will be great. Pulled in. The women in the library were absolutely amazing. I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, do you guys have like a quiet public room or like private room where I can like take a call for a little bit on a Zoom so it's not like absolutely obnoxious to everybody else? First of all, no one else was in the library except for me and these two ladies, but they were very gracious and they put me like back in the like kitchen area. And they're like, here. Well, turns out the Wi-Fi isn't super awesome for the needs of Zoom and doing a podcast. So didn't happen that day. I actually ended up having to reschedule it for about a month later. But they were amazing women and they were very like, I'm like, I got like 5 minutes to set up. They were so awesome. They're like, oh my gosh, okay, we'll put you here. It's so cool. And like that is the total vibe that I've gotten while I've been in Kalama, which is absolutely amazing. So we've talked a little bit about the downtown area. Now I want to talk about the riverfront side. So to get to the riverfront, you can actually walk under the interstate here and walk over to the Port of Kalama area. But if you want to get over there with a car, you're going to have to drive down here and around and across and back down. So you're going to go over there, or you can just get back on the interstate, go north, or you can get off the interstate coming south and you can go right down here. So we're going to go to the Port of Kalama. It is right here, a nice big building where they have the ships come in. This is where you can dock your boat. They have a place where you can load your boats in and out. This is the actual building of the Port of Kalama. Looks like they're loading some containers and moving some stuff around on cranes. All right, so they're getting into some of the stuff we're actually going to talk about here shortly. So next to the Port of Kalama is McMenamins Kalama Harbor Lodge, and McMenamins is a very popular restaurant here in the Pacific Northwest. Each one of them is completely different. They might have different menus and different beers available, different ambiances. Some have hotels, some don't. Some have actual salt-soaking tubs in the like pools in the basements. Not all of them do, but people love McMenamins. One cool thing about McMenamins is that they have these little passports that you can stamp as you visit each one of them. And so I do know people who love to travel around and go to different McMenamins and get their little passports stamped. It's pretty cool. When I was talking earlier about tots, so they do Cajun tots. And I have been obsessed since the very first time many, many years ago when I ate at a McMenamins. I now cannot eat my tots without Cajun seasoning on them. I don't know what it is. Thank you, McMenamins. But other cool things about McMenamins, this one specifically, a couple floors, they've got hotel rooms, super quaint and cozy. Some of the hotels like have shared bathrooms where it's kind of like dormitory style where like the bedroom itself doesn't have a bathroom, but you walk down the hall and you can like shut the single door and like you have a private bedroom and bathroom to yourself. Not all of them are that way. Like I said, every single one of them is pretty different. So in this photo too, you can see this is the tallest single tree totem pole in the Pacific Northwest. Really cool right here, right next to McMenamins. Right next to McMenamins as well is the Weston Amphitheater. And it's right here. I've been here a couple times in the summers. They like to have live music out here in the evenings, multiple times a day, like multiple times a week. It's really cool. So like they have a grass area where you can sit. And then there's a huge park as you go over pointed towards the Port of Kalama Marine Park, where they have all sorts of craft fairs. One time I was there hanging out filming and I saw a bunch of Aussies running around and I was like, what is going on? I asked this lady and she's like, oh yeah, we're going to have a dog show. And I'm like, she's like an Aussie dog show. And there's Aussies everywhere. I'm like, oh my gosh, because I have an Aussie and I love Aussies. I was like, oh my gosh, when does it start? I want to go get my husband and come back and like bring my Aussie with and just like hang out because it's really cute. I'm always like, oh, there's little Phaedra. There's big Phaedra. Like I'm obsessed. But Port of Kalama Marine Park, pretty cool place. And the other thing about the waterfront here is there is a trail, and according to all trails, from about here to about here, there is a waterfront path that you can walk. It's flat, it's cool, it's right along the beach, and you can kind of see it here when we get down to the Lewis Rasmussen Park. Some of the walking is like right there in that picture. But other things at the Port of Kalama Marine Park, they're actually right now they're building this market. It's 2 stories. It's a huge building, and they're going to put all sorts of I think they're doing a distillery in there and a restaurant and a bunch of shops because of all the tourism that is coming in from the cruise ships. They're having to add some more things for these people to do because Kalama is very small. And so they added that down at the waterfront. It's brought a lot of jobs, not only in the construction field, but also like once they open up all the shops, people are going to be able to go inside and like hang out and walk around and eat at different places. It'll be really cool. I'm super duper excited. I wish there was some pictures I could show you right now. I'll have to take some next time I'm up there, but I believe it's supposed to be open here pretty soon. But as we continue, so the Port of Kalama Marine Park, here's that totem pole again. There is some play structures here that the kids can play on. Here, you can see the building right here. They're working on it right there. So that's what they're working on building right now. This is the new dock that they have added for the cruise ships. Here is the Weston Lodge there. Here's, you can see the path that you can walk along the riverfront. And here are some of the covered areas. If it's raining, you can utilize more of the amphitheater area. There's a bunch of parking down here, so don't need to worry about that all the time. Just a beautiful river. So here's, this is actually the more riverboat style. So they have the actual like big cruise ships like you see on the ocean, but then they also have the more riverboat style where they cruise from Portland to Astoria and back, and they'll stop in Kalama and a couple other places, and people will get off and just kind of hang out and see the cities. This is one of the boats that stops in Kalama. All right, let's keep going. All right, Lewis Rasmussen Beach Park. So the beach itself runs up and down this entire strip right here. So there's tons of places to hang out by the beach. At the Lewis Rasmussen, they also have like sand volleyball courts. They're right here. But it's just a cute little place to hang out. As we continue down along, then there's also McMiniman's Ailes Point Cabin, which is a pretty cool and quaint little place. Right here, you can sit at the cabin and there is some waterfront view and just enjoy a beer and some good food. Very, very quaint inside. There's a fireplace and it's just a cute little place to grab a drink. See, isn't that adorable? Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. The other thing was you can continue down here. You keep going. Eventually there's some railroad tracks because a lot of what you're going to see when you're on this side of the river, both here and right here, like you see the RSG forest products, you're going to see a lot of lumber being milled. And so here at RSG Forest Products, they mill the wood. They also kiln dry it. They like cut it into dimensional lumber so you can build things. And then down here, by flip side, before you can get back on I-5 down here, they have a log home building location. But the flip side is a cool place because you can get coffee and little sandwiches there and stuff. It's pretty good. But then, you can get back on the interstate here and go south, or you can get on the interstate and go north. I want to also talk about housing situation. So Kalama is nestled, this is all hillside. The Kalama itself is very hilly. So when you get off the interstate here on Elm, this is up the freaking hill. It's not just like this, it's like this. So Kalama is built into a hill here. And when you go up the street and you go to the Kalama High School, I know we've been waiting, all y'all have been waiting this whole time for this, but the Kalama High School is where they filmed the high school outside shots from the Twilight movies. The inside of the schools were particularly shot down at Madison High School in Portland, but the outside shots were definitely from here. And you can see it's super moody and it's very Pacific Northwest and very cool. But housing wise in Kalama, there's a lot of amazing views because this is such a cliff face. So you can run up here up China Garden Road. I took some clients to a couple houses up here. I think they were right about this area. And it was absolutely the views are just 180 degrees, panoramic of the Columbia River. You're up like 800 or 900 feet. It's absolutely gorgeous. It is windy though. It can be windy because the wind is coming down the Columbia River Basin. Other good roads. I mean, there's tons of good places where you can drive around. This Cloverdale Road also has houses with really, really good views. Otherwise, you can go up this way and go more Spencer Creek Road and go into the backwoods area. And if you drive maybe 15 minutes, you can get up pretty high, like up into this area and have even higher, more territorial views, and you're going to get some acreage. So Kalama's got a wide variety, but you can live in town too. There are some houses down here along the river. There was one for sale recently that had 5 acres. It was down at the end, down here at the end of DuPont Road, where it actually is a dead end. So there was like nothing down here. It was right across from the Columbia Self-Storage. There was a house right here. It was on 5 acres. It had an amazing deck that wrapped, and you could just sit on the deck and watch the Columbia River. The only like caveat to that was you actually could hear I-5. There's tons of trees right here, but you could still hear I-5, which kind of sucked. Kind of wrecked the ambiance just a little bit. But that's Kalama in a whole. A lot of cool stuff about Kalama. There's really not a ton about Kalama, but it is a cute town, and I really, really love it. And if you need more things, like I said, you just zip up here. It is 12 miles to Longview and Kelso. The Target is right here in Kelso, like right off the interstate. Or you can zip down to Woodland, and the northernmost exit in Woodland right here is where the Walmart is. The Safeway's right here in town. So you're pretty close to amenities if you need them, but Kalama is an adorable, adorable town.
Okay, so that was the map tour of Kalama. If you want to know more about Kalama, I do have another video. I have the vlog where we talk a little more in depth about Kalama, and also I take you on a tour of 3 different houses in Kalama so you can see what's available if you're looking to move to the area. Again, my name is Cassandra Marks, also known as Realtor Cass. I'm a farmer with a wee little real estate problem, and I really appreciate you being here. Hope you learned something today. And if you're thinking about making a move to my area in the next 9 days or 9 months, reach out and let's have a chat. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and I really appreciate your time. Until we see you again. Bye.